the thing about this whole experiment was, amongst others, to gain a sense of embodiment within a VR piece. So normally when we talk presence in our everyday lives, we kind of take it for granted that we are here and that the world reacts to what we do, and sort of vice versa. But it's not actually the same in VR necessarily. You take on a head mount, but you still have this immersion that you need to break through to come into presence, that you're not aware anymore of wearing a head mount. And it's sort of like a mental barrier that we have to break for you. So we were really wondering, well, what does it feel like to own, control, and be inside of a body? And for that, we turned to British researcher Mel Slater, who has made a fantastic theory on the sense of embodiment. And it consists of 3 components in total. And when sort of utilized and put those together, it states, well, how do we feel present within ourselves and in our immediate surroundings? So the 3 components are what we worked with and tried to implement into the creation of Separate Silences. The first of those being the sense of self-location, and that refers to the immediate spatial experience of being inside a body, whether that being the first or third person perspective. And as this theory also states, or the conclusions on it, is that, well, if you're first person perspective, then you all already feel as if you're a more integrated part of your avatar. When we look from our neckline and down, we're used to seeing a body. So that's why we implemented first POV for the majority of this experience. But what we also did was we looked into the peripersonal space of humans, and that is the immediate space between your body and to the extent of your arm. And when you cross into this zone, we can also call it a danger zone. It's where you become really aware of your body and your surroundings, and it's there where unknown objects can potentially harm you. So you become very much alert about your body and taking care of it. So we really tried for all of these characters that you met along the way to break through your peripersonal space so that you could gain a stronger connection to your virtual avatar in this experience. The next is the sense of body ownership, and that refers to all the haptic and tactile and proprioceptive inputs on your body, which is amongst other stimulations. And here we worked through the rubber hand illusion experiment that I can definitely recommend you all to look at afterwards. There's a little video on BBC, but essentially what they did is that they stimulated a phantom limb and your real hand, but it seemed as if the phantom limb, through something called plastic neuroplasticity, it sort of imposed that the phantom limb was now your own. So that's why in Separate Silences, whenever there is a virtual character touching you, or you're in a surroundings where you would normally feel wind or smell, that's exactly what happens there. And that's why we stand and facilitate all of these tactile and haptic feedback on your body. The third component is the sense of agency. And that was the most difficult one for us to work around in this case, because sense of agency refers to committing to a virtual space, being able to roam, being able to interact as you do in the real world. And since this was all pre-recorded content, you weren't able to affect the output of the experience in any kind of way. And that's why we wrote the story to rationalize that you couldn't interact with your immediate surroundings, so that you are in a coma and hovering between sleep paralysis and that. So the environment has the entire take on you, but you don't have that on the environment. You can still feel though.